Welcome back to Pod Save the World. I'm Ben Rhodes, and I'm really glad to be joined by Enes Kanter. Big fan when you're on the
Appreciate
Knicks,
it.
especially. Unfortunately, our roster is downgraded because you're not there anymore. The next starting center for the Boston Celtics, but also someone who has a really interesting story as it relates to a country we've talked a lot about on the podcast, Turkey. So, Enes, I thought I'd start with, your passport was taken away in 2017. Rendering you kind of stateless in a way. Why did that happen? What is the root of this feud between the president of Turkey, Tayyip Erdogan, and you?
So, well, I have a foundation. I try to do a charity work all over the world when I could travel. And I was actually had a big event in Romania. It was like 6,000 people was gonna come. And then I landed in Romania. I give my passport to this lady, and then she looked at my passport. She said, "Hold on a second."
Yeah.
She went in the bag, and then 10 minutes later, police came and told us it was me and my manager. He said, "Your passport has been canceled." And then I was like, "Why?" He said, "We don't know, but if you wanna call the Turkish embassy, then you can learn." I was like, "Those are the one cancel my passport. I'm not gonna, just call them and ask him why." And then after I canceled my passport, I actually took a video and sent because I want the whole world to know what's going on. And said, "Hey, I'm being held in Romania. Two policemen were watching us. They were actually basketball fans too. They actually took a picture while they were watching. It was weird."
Yeah.
And then they told us, "Well, you cannot get in the country."
Yeah.
And so we had to leave the Europe and come back to America. But it was very sad because I was gonna do a big charity event for the kids, and it didn't happen. And from that day, it was, I think it was like 3 years ago. From that day, people call me homeless.
Yeah. And were you scared? I mean, did you think that they might actually try to take you back to Turkey?
Of course, there was a scary part because I know what could happen if they could have, just sent me back to Turkey. But I was just like, you know what, I have faith, because I know I didn't do anything wrong. And I see all the Turkish media right after that. "Oh, we are bringing Enes. We are about to bring in Enes. Romania is about to send Enes to Turkey," whatever. So even my family was so scared. My brothers were so scared. Back then, I was playing for Oklahoma City Thunder, so all my teammates were texting me, all my coaches were texting me if I'm okay or not. So of course, it was a very scary moment. But like I said, I was like, I know I didn't do anything wrong. So I was like, there's no way that Romania will send me back to Turkey.
Yeah. And so, they've canceled your passport. They've, criticized you very strongly. They've caused problems for your family at times in Turkey. Is this because, just because you've been an outspoken critic of Erdogan, because you've been associated, you have a friendly relationship with Fethullah Gulen, who leader of obviously, a spiritual movement that Erdogan, has tried to crack down on, particularly since the 2016 coup attempt. Why do you think there is this grudge against you?
Well, first of all, I'll say this, even when I talk about these issues, some of the words that I use that I never even use in my life because I'm a basketball player. If you look at it in the end, I'm not a politician or journalist. Some of the words I talk to, I never even used that in my life before. But just because of I have a platform, I play in an NBA, I'm trying to use this platform to be a voice of all those innocent people who don't have one. Well, right now, if you look at it, Turkey is the number one the country in the world that put the most journalists in a jail.
Yeah.
And there are over, say, 17,000 women and over 800 babies on the jail right now.
Yeah.
And, it's very sad because a lot of people are getting, fired. My dad was a genetic professor.
Yeah.
And he got fired. My sister went to medical school for 6 years. Now she cannot even find a job.
Yeah.
It's very sad because if I look at my country, there is no democracy left. The government is using their power to abuse human rights violation. And, the thing is just there is no freedom. There is no freedom of speech. I mean, obviously, if like in America, you can criticize or you can't even make fun of the president.
Yeah.
There is a freedom of speech, but in Turkey, even if on social media you say something against him, then he said he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And his whole family is a bad guy. Put him in a jail.
And do you think, do you find that, friends, family, people in Turkey are they kind of nervous to be in touch with you because the communications might be monitored or they might become a target?
Yes, well, I mean, 3 years ago, the police came to my house in Turkey and they raided the whole house. My dad, my mom, and my sister was in the house, and they took every electronic away, phones away, computers away, laptops away. They wanted to see if I am still in contact with my family or not, and if they were to see any single text message or email or missed call, they will be all in jail because my family had to put a statement out there and said we are disowning Enes. So the Turkish government will leave them alone.
Yeah.
But now all this stuff's going on. It's just not even just travel to Turkey. I can't even communicate with them because I mean, if I do, they'll listen to their phones and it will be a very dangerous move.
So you're describing essentially a government that, as you said, is imprisoning all these journalists, hundreds of thousands of people, but they're also disrupting people's families. And I noticed that they didn't even let the Western Conference Finals that you played in be broadcast on television in Turkey, so that ordinary Turks who like basketball couldn't watch a game because you happen to be playing in it, and it's a country that loves basketball.
Yeah.
Do you think that this kind of heavy-handed authoritarian approach is there a backlash building against that? I mean, I have to imagine people get sick and tired of the government telling them, you can't watch a basketball game, or if your family has different political views, they could get in trouble.
It's very sad because like when the news came out, because we made the Western Conference Finals with Portland Trail Blazers, and when the news came out and said even Enes make it to the NBA Finals, we are not going to show any of his games, or they just block my every news or every name from all over Turkey. They just don't want the kids to see my name. And that shows that how much the government was scared of an NBA player. That's very, very sad. And I remember that morning I was going into the breakfast, and then all my friends, all my coaches were just looking at me, be like, did this really happen? So the whole country is not going to be able to watch our game just because of one guy, because of you? I was like, yes, it's very sad. But my coach said something very smart. He said, do they not know that when they do things like that, they give you more power? Because I feel, it's very sad that people can now, watch my games, and it's not my fault because I read all the comments and say, yeah, we cannot watch NBA because of Enes. I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything, but it's just sad because like that shows that how much scared they are, and they give me power to talk about these issues even more, and that shows that there is a dictatorship going on in Turkey.
And we saw earlier this year, local elections in places like Istanbul that went against Erdogan, and then he tried to essentially cancel the result. Then they held the elections again, and he lost again. Do you feel like the tide is turning? I mean, do you feel like some of the fear of Erdogan is breaking, or at least people are willing to stand up to this more?
I think so, because I remember when the election happened first, and he lost in 3 major cities, the mayoral election, he wanted to redo it. And the Istanbul especially, and then he redid it, and then he lost it even a bigger cap. It was like I think over close to a million. And then after that, people gained more confident, and they started talking about these issues more and more. Before that, no celebrities, no actors, no any athletes or no movie stars, no singers was talking about these issues because they were scared. But after this mayoral election that he lost and his party lost, people gained a lot of confidence, and now they're more comfortable talking about all these issues. And I feel like it was like an eye-opener. Now people started to understand more, and they just saw that economy is going down and all that stuff. So now I think I loved it.
Well, and for you, as you said, in a way, it makes you more powerful because if someone looks this afraid of you, then more people listen. But also just for your security, you've been afraid to travel to countries like the UK where you thought that the Turkish government could try to apprehend you. The Turkish government could try to use red notices to apprehend you. That's when you give a notice to Interpol. What is the NBA or your team or the NBA Players Union done? who is essentially responsible for trying to protect you
Yeah.
in this situation where you're vulnerable?
Well, whichever team I go to, I would the first team before even like that meet with the coaches or players.
Yeah.
I sit down with the team security first
Yeah.
and talk about all these issues, and then I'm so blessed to have a people like NBA commissioner, my coaches, my teammates, all the fans. They were just so supportive of me that they gives me so much confidence
Yeah.
to talk about these issues even more. Because like I remember when I couldn't travel to London with my team, NBA commissioner Adam Silver did an interview and said whatever Enes is doing, we are behind him. He actually texted me with his personal phone to my phone and say, "Hey Enes, we are with you. We are your family, and whatever you're doing is right. Just keep doing what you're doing. We support you." And then that shows that I was like, wow, even like like an NBA commissioner, that high level guy, or like my teammates or my coaches that can support me this much.
Yeah.
It's a very the confusing conversation. I had to sit down and talk to them one-on-one at least 30 minutes so they can have a better idea of what's going on. But it was an amazing experience for me, how NBA helpful in this process.
And it's interesting. Like you said, you're just a basketball player. And yet you're in this political drama. What about your teammates? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like when you played with some really great players too.
Yes.
Russell Westbrook and Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum, and I wish the Knicks had some better guys.
Yes.
But I mean, do you talk about this in the locker room, or like, do they learn about Turkish politics because this is happening in the backdrop?
A lot.
Yeah.
I remember. So I'll give you guys like the recently example. C.J. McCollum's.
Yeah.
His brother actually played in Turkey, and then his brother was watching our Western Conference Finals game and live tweeting the same time. And he said something about me. He said, "Oh yeah, Enes got a good offensive rebound."
Yeah.
And then Turkish people started attacking him. And he told his brother, he told CJ, and CJ came to me in the locker room and said, "Oh yeah, my brother was live tweeting while he was watching our game, and then he got attacked by just by some Turkish fans." It's just so sad because I feel bad because like if you go on my social media like Twitter, I'm scared to follow my teammate.
Yeah.
Because my teammates told me that whenever I follow him, Turkish people send him threats.
Huh.
So like I'm scared to even follow anybody.
Yeah.
It's just sad because like I said, I'm just an NBA player. I just want to play basketball and I want to represent my country, my flag, my family, the people I love, people I care about.
Yeah.
But just because of all that stuff happening, people are asking me, even like my teammates, when they hear about this conversation first, "Are you crazy?" I always get this question, "Are you crazy?" My family's still back in there, my brother, my sister, mom and dad. I told them, no, there is my mom and my dad, I understand, is just one family. There are 1,000 families out there are getting tortured, getting killed, getting kidnapped, and getting, suffering in jails. And I'm not just saying that. There are lots of reports out there saying that. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights Foundation. So it's just very confusing for my teammates to understand it. But I get lots of support from all over the league. I remember one time I'm playing in the NBA game. I'm actually guarding this guy. It's a very funny story. His name is Marcin Gortat, by the way. He was playing for DC. So I'm actually guarding him in the game. During the game, he asked me, "What side are you on?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "What side are you on?" I was like, "I don't understand what you're trying to say." He said, "Are you on president's side? Are you on other guy's side?" Other guy's Mr. Gillen. I'm like, "Wow, you asking me that during the game?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I think what you're going through is crazy." And I was like, "I'm on the other guy's side."
Was that like a form of trash talk?
It was not a trash talk. It was
Yeah.
very weird. I remember one time, one of our guys going to shoot a free throw. The ref came to me and was like, "Hey, what you're doing is so important, man. Keep doing what you're doing." I'm like, "Whoa, okay. I appreciate
Hopefully
it."
I can get a couple more calls,
Thank you so much. But it just shows that how much the NBA just supporting, especially the fans. I cannot thank enough the fans that how much they've been supportive. Every time I go to a game, they just said, "Hey, Enes, this is your home. You should become a citizen and stuff." I'm actually becoming a citizen in 2021.
I was going to ask you. So you're on track to become an American citizen.
2021, it's very weird because it was very funny story again. So 3 years ago, I was gonna become a citizen, and my friend told me, "Hey, it's 5 years, but if you married an American woman, it's only 3 years." So I said it on an interview, right? I was like, "Oh yeah," one of my friends told me that if I marry with an American woman, it's only 3 years. The next day, all Twitter is like, "Oh yeah, Enes, oh, I'm single. If you want to get married, I'm an American citizen."
Yeah.
Not just the girls, the guys, everybody.
Yeah.
So they were just like, "Oh yeah, hey, if you want to get married," I'm like, "I'm okay. I think I'm gonna wait."
You wait the extra 2 years.
Yes.
I don't know if there are any worldos out there. Well, and your brothers play too, right?
Yes.
Are they? I mean, where are they? Are they NBA prospects or?
Well, he was actually just signed with one of the biggest Spanish team a couple days ago. He was actually traveling yesterday.
Yeah. So so maybe more Canters in pro ball.
I hope so.
Well, what do you when you just look back at Turkey? I mean, are you hopeful that this is going to change? You know, in the near future, in your lifetime, do you hope to be able to return home to Turkey and?
Well, I mean, people like when I talk about these issues, people always think that I have problem with my country. I love my country. My problem is not with my country, not with my flag. My problem is with the regime in Turkey.
Yeah.
And Turkey could be the bridge of modern Islam and West. But now all that stuff going on in Turkey is impossible. And of course, you know, I miss, you know, America gave me so much. Of course, you know, the people here, you know, I mean, all the fans, my teams, and they gave me so much. But of course, in the end, that is my country, and there's my people, and my family still lives there. Of course, one day I want to be able to go back.
Yeah.
Am I hopeful? Yes, I'm hopeful, and I know one day people gonna understand. The people in Turkey gonna understand what they're doing wrong, and what kind of people they're doing is, and this is definitely going to turn around. But we just gotta just keep believing and just talking about what's going on and pray for it.
And you know, back here, do you feel like what's happened to you in Turkey makes you kind of more politically involved? I mean, you've met with some politicians.
Yes.
I mean, do you see yourself as someone who's going to play some role in raising political awareness about these issues in the U.S. and meeting with members of Congress and other things?
Well, I mean, it was so amazing to see all the, you know, the senators and congresses, and everybody was just showing a lot of support. I even like met with some of the people like the Clinton families and everything. They were showing a lot of support, and not just, you know, the one side. Republicans just showing a lot of support. The Democrats showing a lot of support. And it just shows that it gives me a lot of, like I said, confidence. Just show me that I'm in a right path. You know, because I talk about these issues to all these, you know, people, they stop me in the middle.
Yeah.
There's like, don't worry about it. We already know all these issues.
Yeah.
What can we do for you? How can we help you?
Yeah.
So it definitely means a lot to me to seeing all this, you know, support from all this political guys.
Well, just before we end here, what about the Celtics this year?
Oh, I'm
do you
so
feel
excited
good about this team?
Oh yeah.
You played on some good teams. How does this one rank against Oklahoma City, Portland?
Yeah, I haven't met the guys yet, actually. I met Kemba Walker. I know how good of a good player he is. I met, you know, Gordon Hayward. Well, he was my teammate. And I met Taco Fall, 7'7" guy.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the most famous guy already in the whole league. He's 7'7". I'm 6'11", he's 7'7". But I'm very, very hopeful about this team, and I feel like we have a really special team that we can beat every team on every floor.
Yeah.
Schedule just came out today.
I noticed,
First game against Philly.
And then I'm a Knicks fan. You know, you're doing the Knicks home opener, man.
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be amazing, man.
I mean, do you feel like you want to get some revenge there? Or?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. But November 26th, I marked that day.
Yeah,
you know, I was like, I gotta bring my A game because MSG. I know a lot of celebrities gonna be there.
Yeah.
I know, and they know all my ex teammates wanna go out there and just, you know, destroy me so they can make fun of me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be ready for that game for sure.
Well, you know, something tells me that the Celtics are going to do a little bit better than the Knicks this year.
I hope so.
Which, even though I'm a Knicks fan, I wish you the very best on that. Well, look, man, it was great talking to you. We'll follow
thank you
this.
so much.
We'll
I
keep following these
appreciate it.
issues, and we'll be rooting for you out there.